Oh, hello, Esperanza.
Hi, Don.
It's great to see you. Great to see you here, and then nice to have you on this video. And great that we could get together and I think talk about some really important questions that are uh, right in the forefront of people's minds in the real estate business today. So I'm glad you could join me, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Don. We've done a lot of work at our institute with the real estate profession. So this is very exciting to get this word out.
I was thinking about that. You've talked to people from all over the world and from every economic and occupational area, but a lot of them come from real estate, or many of them have come from real estate.
For many years, and we are now working with real estate people in Canada too, also.
That's great. Well, it's been an interesting market, and very different than anything we've seen in many, many years. And while there's a lot of agents that are doing incredibly well right now in this market, there are a lot who are struggling with the marketplace, and then of course that creates the financial challenges, and then that sometimes goes into relationship issues, and it seems like it's, for some people, it's spinning out of control. You knew my mentor Jim Rohn. He used to say, "Find out how life works." You've been my great life teacher and spiritual teacher for many years. I was thinking maybe you could share with realtors watching this what life principles or what universal laws they can focus on to have their life work better.
Oh yes, that would be very exciting, Don, because the issues appear to be quite common among realtors and probably around people, period. But
Right.
realtors right now, there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of concerns about money, concerns about their clients, concerns about the sales or lack of sales, relationship issues, and they're coming up pretty strong. And when we're working with people in the real estate business, basically what I tell them to do, first of all, is don't have your identity in your business. Like, don't think that whether you're doing good, quotes good, or quotes bad, whatever you think you're doing, to not judge it and not think that it has anything to do with your self-worth, because it doesn't. It's really just a profession. It's just a job outside of you. And the emphasis with the S.O.U.L Institute, which is a spiritual program, is we really, really show you how to get to know you and how to look at your value systems and your beliefs and the tapes you carry and what do you think about yourself? Because in spiritual laws, we have these laws like the law of attraction, which I'm sure everybody's heard about through The Secret, or many people have.
Right.
And the law of attraction basically says that like attracts like. So what you want to do is really work on you so that you're healing you, loving you, knowing you, freeing you inside, and really getting to know what beliefs do you have that are creating the results that you have. And then we get to the belief systems and to the obstacles or the blocks that keep you from having what you really want. So we're working with many different spiritual laws, but the one that's really significant to people that are having all these demands on them and all these stresses is basically the law of attraction, which is one of the main ones. There's also the law of gratitude. Like when you think you don't have enough love, enough money, enough whatever, to really be very grateful and focus on what you do have. Focus on the love you have, the family you have, the relationships you have, the opportunities you have, or the opportunities you have coming. To really have your energy be looking at the value of who you are and the value of what you have around you, so that you're not focusing on what you don't have or what you lack. So what we do is we walk people through what are the belief systems that are holding you back from having what you'd really love to have, or having a life of love, peace, joy, without chaos and pain and lack. So we walk them through that and teach them how to get to some of the some of the results they'd like abundance for one thing.
Right. Well, that kind of brings me to a question that's very related to that, because I was thinking about right now, many are working harder than they've ever worked. It's almost a mindset. I have to work a lot harder to make less. That's what a lot of people are telling me. So what should we be paying attention to? In other words, is there a personal message that we need to be listening to that's different from how it looks on the outside? Like about us?
Well, you definitely don't want to believe that you have to work hard and barely make it. Because what will happen with spiritual laws is that the universe will only give you what you believe is true. And will read your emotional barometer. So it's really important that you don't have to work hard to get what you want. You just have to really love you and represent you in truth and to do what really supports you and fulfills you and is not just success outside of you, but to really get to know you and love you and free you from within so that you can attract to you. That's the law of attraction, what you really deserve. Because your belief systems that you're not good enough or you're not worthy are going to attract to you lack. They're going to attract you a whole lot of with very little return. And that's what we don't want.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when you said the law of attraction, because one thing you taught me many years ago, which I thought was very different than what I had been thinking, and that was like attracts like. The law of attraction was always in my mind. You get what you focus on, but I think you shared with me that you really get how you feel about you inside of you. Could you follow up on that and maybe talk about that? Because I think that's really a critical distinction.
People say that a lot, like, well, I do everything. I meditate, I have vision boards, I think positive,
Right.
I have positive thoughts, I control it all. Well, that's not the answer, because the universe is going to look at how do you feel about you? What do you think about you? Do you feel you're lovable? Do you feel you're worthy? Were you told at some point that you didn't do good or that you didn't do good enough and that you weren't valued, and now you've been carrying around that belief and operating under that belief so that you're working really, really hard and not allowing the abundance to come to you? And some people might create a lot of abundance and then sabotage it because of belief systems. So what we do is we look at you loving you, knowing you, freeing you from within so that you can easily manifest and attract what you really want from your essence of love, peace, and joy, which is who you really are.
Well, and that you touched on this other part too, but I want to say it because as you're saying how you feel about you, the cliche in real estate is you're only as good as your last deal. And I think it's a very sad statement about how people believe about themselves that I'm only good when I'm doing good. And when I'm not doing good, that's how I feel about me.
That's pretty sad. It's very sad because you're as valuable you're just valuable because you're a spiritual being and you are divine. You're very, very special. But we learn very early in many environments that we're not. Mm-hmm. And then we carry that around as though it's true, and then we get the results we don't want. So the thing that would help more than anything else, Don, is to really, really get to know themselves from within. To really respect and love and trust and connect deeply with who you really are. And remember that you are a lovable being. And that will begin with you, because the love that you give to you is what you're going to attract. And the love you don't give to you, you will attract that also.
Oh, that's great. Let me ask you one more question about relationships, because that seems to be, as I mentioned early on, I think a lot of people are putting an emphasis on the financial stress is creating the relationship problems. I'm not sure that's true. I don't really believe that it's true. But it feels like there's a lot of people. In fact, I had a guy tell me the other day that he was really battling with his wife, and he doesn't feel she's supporting him, and there's a lot of tension. And, he's blaming her and she's blaming him, and he's not supporting her and she's not supporting him. And there's a lot going on, and it feels like it's about the finances, but it's really not, is it?
Well, it is if they think it is for a short while, because that's going to be creating the battle and the chaos and the distance and the mistrust. And we start where they're at. But basically what it really is it's fear. It's a fear of not having enough, a fear of not being able to take care of yourself, take care of your family, a fear of not feeling worthy and not feeling lovable. So it's very deep. And what I tell people about relationship is that there's only one relationship in the whole world that matters. Just one. And that's the relationship you have with you. So loving you and knowing you and freeing you from within is going to quiet and heal any relationships around you. But you have to start with you, because there's the law of reflection, the universal spiritual law of reflection, which is all what you're seeing in relationships outside of you is a reflection of the relationship you have with you or that you don't have with you. So you have to begin with you. And when you love you and heal you from within, then the whole environment with your children, with your spouse, with your parents, with your business, it all shifts. As you know, Don, you did some incredible healing around relationships and business, and in your personal families also. Right. And it just shifts. It has to shift as you shift. But you have to take responsibility to really heal you in order to create what you want in relationship. It's never about the other person, even though it looks like it. It's not. Mm-hmm. They're marrying something in you that you haven't healed yourself.
I want to leave just a pause in there for a moment. And let's start with this. Esperanza, I was thinking about this word you're using, healing, and how does that relate? How do I heal? I'm in real estate. I'm a human being operating in business. What do you mean by the word heal? How do I heal myself?
What I find with a lot of people that I work with in real estate and in many professions, but in real estate for sure, because there's a lot of stress around the economic shifts right now, is that there's a sense that their value is outside of them. Like if I make good sales, they're good. Like you said, they're as good as their last deal. So there's a belief system that's very hurtful and very sad to the individual. And by healing, I mean is to really, really love you and accept you and trust you and get to know you and do not allow old belief systems that are in your way. For example, that you're not good enough, that you don't work hard enough, that you don't do it good enough, that you're not brilliant enough. Don't let old belief systems get in your way from your loving and accepting and trusting you. Because that's where it begins. It begins with you. So by healing, I mean just loving you, knowing the true you, and changing anything that hurts you. With thoughts, with feelings, with beliefs, with any action, behaviors, anything that doesn't support you to make a different choice.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Instantly. I mean, instantly when they make different choices. It's very beautiful.
I had an experience with that when I first met you of how many limiting beliefs had come from my early years and how many habits and behaviors I had created, how many stories I was telling myself that were really holding me back. And that's what you're referring to.
Yes, That's what we call healing or transformation or change, whatever we want to call it. It's basically just choosing differently, creating a life of peace, love, joy, so you can manifest whatever you want.
That's perfect. Well, I love what you do, and I'm really excited about the upcoming event, and I know that the realtors that go will just find so much for themselves and how they can change themselves inside and how ultimately that will change their business, but more importantly, it's going to change their lives. And I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate your time today. I love being with you, and I love what you do in the world, and I'm so glad that we're going to get to take it out to some realtors. So thank you.
Thank you, Don. How exciting.
Thanks, Esperanza.
I'm looking forward to our meetings.
Have a great day. I'll see you soon.
Thanks. You too.
Bye-bye.